Good morning. It truly is an honor and a pleasure and a privilege to be with you here this morning in service to this community and to service to these beloved ministers who serve your community so lovingly, so tenderly, and so generously. When Reverend Stacy contacted me last week, without even missing a heartbeat, I said, yes, of course. I'll be here for you. I'll be here for you, and I'll be here for you. And so, as Reverend Stacy mentioned this morning, this whole year, the Las Vegas Center for Spiritual Living and about 125 centers worldwide are working with the theme of the global vision of a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. This is the theme that we're working with for the entire year, and this month's theme is Service to the World. And so today's talk title, I told Reverend Stacy, just give me whatever talk title you got, I'll work with it, So I know it's last minute, and here we go. But the talk title is absolutely wonderful and absolutely perfect. It's Service to the One, Service to the World. And so this morning, what I would like to begin with and to share with you is something that Ernest Holmes wrote in the back of The Science of Mind. And I have my very biblical-looking version of that. And it's on page 521. In the back of The Science of Mind, there's some beautiful meditations that Ernest Holmes wrote, and they're very poetic in nature. And on page 521, there is one that he wrote, and it's called I Serve. And so that's what I'd like to start this morning off with. I serve the world. I wait upon the Lord within all men. I call forth glory from on high within the minds of all people. I obey him who dwelleth in eternity. I do the works of him who dwelleth among all heavens. My Lord within commands, and I obey. Didn't know he was so poetic, did you? You just read and it's like, oh, where's that semicolon? And where's that? Right? The back of the book is beautiful. If you've never had the opportunity to look at it, go pick it up. You can run right over there to the bookstore. There's many copies over there. You can run right over there after service and you can pick it up. It is absolutely beautiful. The prose in the beginning is beautiful too, but the poetry in the end is something that's truly remarkable and truly stunning, and a great service to the world. And so I'd like to use that as the basis of what we're thinking about here. So when we're thinking about service to the one or service to the world, well, the world is an awfully big place. And when we say we envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation, wow, that's huge. That is so huge, like my mind can't even wrap around that. But what my mind can wrap around is service to the world being service to the person who is in front of me, and the person who's in front of me, and the person who's in front of me, and the people who are in front of me. This is manageable, right? It's not like, whoa. This is manageable. It's in service to the world. It's in service to you and you and you. And that's being in service to the one. Because what we know about the world is a microcosm of the macrocosm. And what is the macrocosm? The macrocosm is God, the divine, the one infinite and eternal being that through itself, as itself, brought forth all of creation. So that each one here is a divine emanation and impartation, a divine manifestation of the one life that is the entire life, that is all life, that is all creation. Everything we see, everything we cast our eyes upon, every word we hear, everything we hear, see, touch, feel, sense, is all a divine manifestation of God, and we call it the universe, or we call it the world. And so the place that we can start in service, by being of service, is with one another, with a person right in front of us. And then the next line of that poem, or that meditation, says, I wait upon the Lord within all men and women. But I wait upon the Lord within every human being, within every person, within every sentient being. I recognize you and I are one. And so I look within you and I see within you the divine. And I see God within you. We are all sisters and brothers. And so when I wait upon you, when I serve you, I serve the one. I serve the one. Because everywhere I look, I see the one. I see the beauty and the power and the presence and the love and the joy. And I say yes to it and I serve it. I ask, how can I be of service? How may I serve my Lord? The divine within the person in front of me. The divine within you. And then he goes forth to say, I call forth the glory from on high through the minds of all people. And so what is that? That is, I get to turn within myself and I get to look and see how it is that I'm living my life. Am I living in integrity? Am I living in oneness? Am I living in my realization of oneness? And can I be an example for it? Can I be an example of it? And by being an example, can I then help draw you into being your best self as well? This is service to the one. By me doing my own work in consciousness, by me practicing my spiritual practices, by me taking classes, by me showing up fully as the presence of God as I know how to be and as I understand it. As I do that within my own life, and I share that within my own life, I bring that forth. I call forth the glory of God from on high. And I call it out of you. Because I see you as that as well. And by being an example, perhaps that sparks something in you to show up more fully as yourself, to take a class for yourself, to do the world day of service, to be in service to others. And so how do we go about doing this? How do we decide what we're going to do, right? And Ernest Holmes directs us too. I obey the will of the one. I obey the will of him who inhabits eternity. And again, in our science of mind philosophy, we know that God is not a him. We know that God is not a her. We know that it is not a gendered being. It's the language of the time in which he was speaking, which he was using. But I obey the will of the one who inhabits eternity. And so what that is that's the divine guidance within, right? Because where is eternity? Where is life? Where is love? Where is the presence of God? Where is it? It's all over, right? And it's right within each and every one of us. And so I obey the will of that still small voice that guides and directs me. I say yes to it. When Reverend Stacy calls, I say yes to it. Because it is in an alignment. It is the will of God, is the direction of God, is the direction of my still small voice, that internal knowingness, that divine knowingness within me that is directing and guiding me. And because it is directing and guiding me, I can say yes and relax into it and know that everything will be well. It's not my own ego saying, yeah, Stacy, I'd like to speak at the center. Right? It comes from a deeper place than that. I mean, yeah, Stacy, I'd like to speak at the center, but But that initial yes comes from here. And then it's about doing the work. Doing the work of the one. Doing the work of God. John 14:10, quoting Bible from Jeffrey. Wow. John 14:10. It is the Spirit within that does the work. I of my own self do nothing. It is the Spirit within that does the work. Jeremiah 6:3. I am doing a great work and I cannot come down. I am doing a great work and I cannot come down. And this community is doing a great work and we will not come down. We will not be brought down. We are doing the work of love. We are doing the work of the one. We are guided and directed in this community through Spirit, to live more magnificently, more fully, to recognize the magnificence of who we are, our own divine magnificence. And we bring it forth in service to the world, in service to each other. What a wonderful and amazing thing that he has in this back of the Science of Mind. Such guidance for this month, such guidance for our lives. And this community, this past week, as you know, I won't say lost, but experienced the transition of Reverend Cynthia Clare. And as I've often heard these three beautifuls say, the beloved Reverend Cynthia Clare. It was always, when I would hear them say it, it was always part of the title. The beloved Reverend Cynthia Clare. It wasn't just, here's Reverend Cynthia, it's the beloved Reverend Cynthia Clare. And that truly is who she is, and who she was, and who she continues to be. When I think of this passage from the back of the Science of Mind, I was thinking of Reverend Cynthia Clare and all the ways that she showed up, saying yes to the world, in service to the world, in service to the one. She came from California and she opened Summerlin Hospital. She opened the chaplaincy program at Summerlin Hospital. She said yes to the one. She said yes to service. She heard her calling and she said yes to it. She moved. She came here. She invested her life here in service, in chaplaincy. And then she created this Center for Spiritual Living. She's the founding minister. And it first started meeting where? At Summerlin Hospital. A small group that she nurtured and grew and loved and shared her generosity with until it expanded and moved over to Alexander and then finally here. And throughout the whole process, her generosity of calling people forth, calling glory from on high, she inspired the lives of hundreds, dare I say thousands, and she continues to do so. These beloveds sitting over here, all four of them, my husband included, first had Reverend Cynthia as their minister, as their introduction to Science of Mind. 3 of them were trained by her as a practitioner. And then 3 of them were trained under her to become ministers. This is her legacy. This center is her legacy. She continues to live on, and she shares so generously. Shared her platform. I'm standing here because of Reverend Cynthia Clare and what she has instilled in these beautiful people and this community. Her love and her authenticity, her willingness to be raw and open, yet poised through it all. Her willingness to speak to the challenges and the ways that she overcame them spiritually, and the ways that she was working with them to overcome them still. This is a bright light. And just because she's no longer physically present with us here on the planet does not mean that that light is diminished. It continues on because she was born of eternal day, as each of us were. And so in her memory and in her honor, I would like to read another passage. This one I'm going to read because I don't have this one memorized, but I'd like to read another passage from the Science of Mind. The back of the Science of Mind is page 531. Born of eternal day. Child of all good, you are born of eternal day. There is no evening of the soul, for it shall live forever. It is deathless and perfect, complete and one with everlasting. No thought of tomorrow can disturb the calm of him who knows that life is one eternal day. No fear can enter where love reigns, and reason keeps faith with hope. The thoughts of the tomorrows and the yesterdays are swallowed up in the great realization of the perfect here and the complete now. Reverend Cynthia Clare was born on Eternal Day. But she's not alone. We all are born of Eternal Day. Each of us is called to ministry in our own way. Each of us is called to be a minister and to minister to our fellows, brothers and sisters, sisters and brothers, our neighbors, our friends, our community. Each of us is called to ministry. Each of us has a God-given gift and talent that is just waiting to be shared if it's not already being shared. And if it already is being shared, it's waiting to express in even greater and more fuller ways. And so here at the center, there's plenty of opportunities for you to share your gifts and talents. One of the first ways this coming up this weekend, next Saturday, is the World Day of Service. By participating in either one of those opportunities. Another way is to sign up for one of the volunteer service opportunities. And if those don't appeal to you, listen to what calls to your heart and create something. Create the opportunity for yourself. Our beautiful Selena over here is offering a class that she created through her own experience. This is her gifts and her joy to share with you. This is an opportunity for her to share. Megan and Caden, I asked them before we started, why is it that you guys serve? Megan's been serving with the kids. She started off here as a youth, and she was serving with our youth, and now she and Caden are at the board. They do it because they love to serve, they love this community, and they come here, and this is where they find home. I asked Sharon at the bookstore, why do you serve in the bookstore? She goes, it brings me joy. I love being here with all the books. I get to see them first. I get to thumb through them. I get to touch and feel, and it feels great. And it brings her great joy. I asked Kathy with the teens, why do you serve? And she goes, it brings me great joy to be with the teens. And wow, wouldn't it be really cool if I had been able to be a teenager, or my kids had been able to be teenagers in this philosophy, and where our lives would be if we had gotten in early. And she just came back this summer. She was at teen camp this summer, and she had a blast. But these are the sharings of the gifts and talents that these beautiful beloveds have that they're so willing to share. And it's not about giving to get. And it's not done out of obligation. Can you imagine if Patty just saying, okay, I gotta be here on Sunday morning, okay? I am blessed, every day, right? It's not out of obligation. It's out of sheer joy. Sorry, no. But it's out of sheer joy. It's bringing the gifts and talents, and each one of you has a gift or a talent to share with the world. And some people think, oh no, I don't have a gift or a talent. You have a smile. You have a smile. You have two arms if you choose to give a hug. You have the ability to sit and listen and be present with somebody. You have the ability to give your time if you so choose. Those are skills, those are talents. And they make a huge difference. We don't always have to think of it as being some big, grandiose, like, vocational thing. This is my calling, this is my passion, this is my path. Just smiling. If you're a knitter, hey, great. Or a crocheter, great. How can you use that passion to serve others? Because when we use whatever passions we have or whatever interests we have in service to others, it expands our capabilities, it expands our world, and it expands the love that we are and that we're able to share. There are some communities who take the plastic grocery bags and they shred them and they cut them, and then they take these great big crochet hooks and they make mats for the homeless to sleep on. And then they can be washed, and then it gives them a comfortable pad. There's possibilities. If you're just sitting there thinking, oh, okay, I crochet, there's something for you to do. You can do something with that. Make baby blankets for newborns in the NICU. Make little baby hats. There's always something you can do. If you like to bake or you like to cook, usually on the second Sundays we have potluck. This coming Sunday is a little bit different, but hey, bring it anyway. Bring the desserts, bring the goodies. If you like to bake, if that's something that calls to you. Find whatever it is that you like to that calls to you and share it. Share your gift with the world. Don't hold on to it. Joel Goldsmith tells us that any given talent, any talent that we are given is meant to be shared. It's meant for the benefit of the world. We are not to take it and hide it and go up to a mountaintop and just sit there and own with it. We're meant to share it. So there's plenty of opportunity here in this community to share it. More ways than I could even possibly count. More ways than everybody sitting in this room. If you choose to share it in this community. And you can choose to share it in this community. You can choose to share it outside of this community. You can choose to share it in Utah at the retreat center. Love you. So breathe in just for a moment and take a moment to go within and feel that heart center. And simply ask yourself, how may I serve today? How may I serve today? And breathe into the answer. And another nice deep breath, and breathe that answer out into the room. When you serve the world, you serve the one. For each is the divine being, the Spirit made manifest. Each is the embodiment of love, of life, and of joy. Go out this day from this place in service.